I'm Jnanasiddhy, and I'm gay. Yay! Thank you. Coming out to you has been fairly easy for me. But based on my experience so far, I have this theory that coming out takes after this classic Kubler-Ross model of the 5 stages of grief. What are the 5 stages of grief? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Okay, allow me to demonstrate. Denial. To quote Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, what is she? Is she an Egyptian crocodile? Because she's living in denial. Cool. I feel better. Thanks, Tina Fey. Okay. People razz me for this, but I've known that I liked men as early as in my kindergarten days. I just knew, man. I loved it if I got kissed on the cheek. I didn't know about kisses on the mouth. But I knew kisses from a boy were better. And I knew there was something off based on my friend circle as well. Like, I'd have lunch with the boys, but most of my best friends were girls. And my friends were in denial too, because they knew my walking and talking were uncommon, but I just snuck under the radar because I was a good student who sang and danced. So I was just like artsy. So in my 5th standard, our entire family went on this trip in Tamil Nadu where we visited like a dozen temples. And I remember vividly praying to every god and goddess to just make me, as the Raymond dads would call, a complete man. And I think that was my first step of admitting that maybe I was different. Anger. Then came the bullies in my +1, +2, and BTech. Not that there weren't bullies in school. Back in RSS camp, don't even ask, we were all sleeping, all the boys were sleeping on the floor of this giant room. And I remember they all immediately started like singing about me and calling me names. The lights were out, so I could still hear. Everything was just like audio. So it was the worst. And I remember, like a dork, I said, enough has been said on the subject. Because my dad used to use that line, and that would like, I would shut up. So I thought like, this is gonna show them. It's gonna shut these boys up. They just continued it for another hour. So, and then even my mom once had asked me, why are you behaving like a eunuch? And then I was so mad, I wrote this like 10-page letter to a TV psychologist. I was like, that'll do it. He's gonna hypnotize me, he's gonna fix me. In +2, guys sashayed behind me, yelling catwalk. And my best friend in BTech, who I used to share so many good jokes with, once in the middle of an argument called me Chakya. I was confused, and then I was back to being angry again. In BTech, there was this friend that was rude to me, and he knew he was gonna come back once he was back from college. I would definitely confront him. So what he did was, he brought like 4 other guys who just like pushed me on my bed and started like making fun of me, and I wouldn't even turn around. I would just, this is again like such a lame defense move. I would recite loudly this Telugu short story that I loved from that week's magazine to just drown out their voices. And they laughed for like another couple of hours, and then they left. I was just furious. Bargaining. I started playing along with the bullies, in that I'd agree with their insinuation, but try and retain some power with me. As in, Siddhi, the girls are shopping in that section, someone would say. And I'd go, you want to see me in a dress? Just say it, be kinky and proud. Or some straight bro once joked with me saying, I think you're attracted to me. And I said, maybe I just don't like you that way, you know, like every other girl you've met. When girlfriends would say stuff like, you know, I'm just really comfortable with you, and then accusingly say that because I wouldn't try anything stupid with them, I'd again be mad. Depression. My entire BTech, I was sad. I didn't know what it was, but only in hindsight can I say It wasn't the dreary life of being single, it was just the suckiness of not having one gay friend around. It was like having all the feels, but not the words to say them out loud so they could feel real. Months before I came out to my family, I once went on this thing we call in Telugu called Pelli Chupulu. It's when you and your family visit another single woman's family, and it's like a marriage interview, a date of the families. And the performative straight dance I had to put on, it's like my best acting in my entire life. But I remember there's this joke in my family, a running joke. I have 4 sisters. And all of them would be like, no matter which girl you'll marry, she has to be approved by all of us, huh? And then I'd get tired because they'd be disapproving each and every woman that we'd see. And then I'd say, guys, we have to reach a consensus. I'll be single forever. And then we'd all laugh. I remember feeling very hollow and detached, laughing at those jokes when I was younger. But on the day of the marriage interview, I remembered feeling super drained from everyone's need for me to give them eye contact or like look interested. I remember feeling very broken and sad and dirty. Just before moving to Bombay, I came out to my dad and he reassured me that it was all in my horoscope. So yay. Once I moved to Bombay, my entire family just stopped talking to me. I came out to my second sister and she said my only recourse was to marry an orphan, have a child via IVF so my parents could have a grandson. My dad outed me to my mom despite me requesting him explicitly not to. And she just cried that it was all her fault. My sister said they accepted me, but turns out it was only as long as I was not telling anyone else and I was continuing to live in the closet. I was in a new city, I was sharing an apartment with a homophobic guy who turned worse every day, and I hadn't seen the sun in weeks. What with the crazy monsoons around here, and I was just crying into my pillow every night from exhaustion and abandonment. Acceptance. My brother-in-law outed me to my entire team in the current company in Bombay. He also called my colleagues in the previous company in Hyderabad. He thought he could shame me back into the closet. So I instead went on Facebook and wrote this. Everyone, I'm gay. No follow-up questions. If you know my family, give them the privacy to cope. If you know my friends, spare them your need to gossip. And if you know me, you know my closet has always had glass doors, so you would have known by now. So move the fuck on. My brother-in-law wanted me to be friendless, ashamed, and humiliated and crawl back into the closet. Instead, my friends lifted me, as they have done time and again. I've been singing with the Rainbow Voices Mumbai, India's first and only LGBT choir, for 3 years now. Thank you. We put on a Pride concert every Pride week every year. And last year, we performed at the NCPA, we performed at the London Pride, and we also performed along with the Pink Singers, Europe's longest running LGBT choir. And on the day of the show, I decided to wear nail paint, just for the show. And on the flight back from London, one of my choir members, Kare, said, Siddhi, you should maybe wear this like every day. And just on a whim, I decided to keep it. Cut to, 1 year later, I have 35 shades and counting. I wear nail polish every day, almost every day. And I can't imagine how much joy it has given me. I suddenly get what all the straight women have been telling forever. Like, yes, you wear makeup for yourselves. I get it now because it's not, if someone says you look pretty, it's great. It's great. But the joy starts from us. To have the splash of color on your body that stays with you and moves with you, it's magic, right? So this is it. This is the end of the road, right? Acceptance. Turns out, coming out is like the stages of grief, but it's cyclical. So when my parents asked me to try meds to become straight, I slipped back into self-doubt and denial. I confessed to my friend, what if my entire identity is a sham? What if my whole life has been a performance to just run away from the responsibilities of, say, getting married or settling down? What if this is just like a cloak I carry around to feel special? But these moments have been few and far between. Or when I remember that it's been 2 years since I've talked to either of my 5 beautiful nephews and nieces because my sisters broke all contact with me, I get depressed. And sometimes I get into the bargaining stage with my parents because they know that I wear nail polish because my brother-in-law stalks me on social media, my sisters do that, and then they share pictures with my parents. But when I go home, I keep my nails bare and they don't say a word about marriage. So this is a deal I'm happy with. I'm happy to work with it. Now I randomly just come out to people from other teams at work. Like if some uncle ji will make an offhand remark about, "Acha beta, abhi tumko shaadi karna hai," and I'm like, just find me a good guy. And so I'll watch him squirm out of that situation. So I guess that is me in acceptance of myself. If I could, I would definitely opt out of the cyclical process. But real life is messy and nothing is absolute. And I have sense-of-fucking-ational friends who tied me by. September 6th, 2018, the Supreme Court has decriminalized us LGBT folks. And now when people try to be homophobic with me, I can also cite the law and shut them down if my words are not able to slice them through. I want to say that I am done dimming my light, deepening my voice, or putting down my pinky, or switching genders in the stories I tell my friends. I'm not going to stop being me just so I'll be palatable to you. Fuck that. Pinkies up and cheers to queers. Woo!